Hello everyone! In this episode of Let's Make a Manga, I'm going to talk about how I make a script for my stories. Now you might be wondering what a script is. A script is basically a detailed outline of what happens and what you want your characters to say in a chapter. It's kind of like a movie script. In the previous video, we talked about creating the plot for your story and creating a plot outline, which is basically a short summary of each chapter, so I would recommend using your plot outline to help you plan out your script. Now, when I made my first ever story, also no one's ever read this story because I didn't finish it, but for that story I didn't make a script for each chapter. I would go straight into the storyboarding phase. Now you could do this, but it makes the storyboarding process a lot longer, and very tricky since you're kind of planning everything at once. You're deciding what you want your characters to say, you're planning out panels, you're deciding how you want to pace things, you're deciding just so many things all at once that it makes it really tricky. So I recommend creating a script because it makes the storyboarding process so much easier and it helps a lot. Now, to give you some context for the script, we're going to have my two original characters, Tala, who is part wolf, and Ren, who is part bird, talking to each other in this part of the story. So I start by stating which page the dialogue goes on. I like to break things up into pages because this will give me an idea for how long the chapter should be. But when I was first starting out, I found it to be very tricky to break up the script into pages. The reason being, since I was only a beginner and I wasn't sure what I was able to fit on each page. So I would often end up putting too much dialogue on one page, and then when I was in the storyboarding phase, I was trying to cram all of this information onto one page, and then I was changing my script, and it was just kind of a big jumble of things because I wasn't sure what I could fit on each page. So if you are a beginner and you're finding it hard to split your script up into pages, I would recommend just focusing on the script and how you want it to flow and what you want your characters to say, instead of worrying about page count. Then later on, when you start to find scripting to be easier and you start to know more about what you're able to fit on each page, then break the script up into pages. So after the page number, we have this sentence: we see a heavily wooded forest with a cave deep within it. When there is no dialogue, I often put what we as the viewers will see. I use this for establishing shots and when a character doesn't say anything. Next, we have the dialogue between the characters. I start each line with what character is speaking. So in the first sentence, Tala is speaking. I also put that she is saying this in a whiny voice. I like to leave myself reminders like this so that when I am in the storyboarding phase, I make sure to remember how I want the characters to portray their lines. So the script goes, page 1, we see a heavily wooded forest with a cave deep within it. Tala in a whiny voice, man, I'm so hungry. Ren with an annoyed look, then go hunt for some food. Tala, but it's so much work. So I try to keep things very organized. When Tala stops speaking, I put what Ren is saying on a completely different line. That way everything stays neat and tidy and easy for me to read. Page 2, Tala, if I was still a normal human, I could just go to the supermarket and buy some food. Tala sighs. Ren, do you think we'll ever be normal again? Ren has a concerned look on her face. So that's all there is. I'm keeping the script really short because we're going to be using this script for the storyboarding video that will be after this video. So that is basically how I format my scripts for my chapters. I hope this video was helpful and that you enjoyed it. In the next video, we will be discussing paneling and storyboards. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next week in my next video.